Okay, first drop of the day. Always the hardest because I'm not really sure where the ideal spot is in terms of speed. Seems a little fast this morning. Like normally I'm looking for about 1 mile per hour, but I'm doing more like a 1.5 mile an hour clip here. Just a little faster than I want. Somehow I got away from my jig. Got sucked into a eddy or something. So I'm gonna pull it back out here. Drop it back down. That's the nice thing about these iron jigs. Go right to the bottom and hurry. It's about 66 feet deep here. There's fish. Oh, I lost him. Dang it. That one was at 45 feet. There's fish. Got one. Alright, first fish of the day. That was my third drift. Oh yeah, it's a nice walleye. Beautiful fish on iron. So when I refer to iron, I'm really sort of borrowing a term from West Coast offshore anglers that we jig these metal jigs. Sometimes people call these metal spoons. I don't really like the term spoon. Because they aren't really spoon shaped, but they are a heavy metal lure that can be vertically jigged and really highly effective for walleye. One of my favorite techniques for deep water walleye. This is a jig para from Major Craft. Nice sized eater walleye. There you go. Really nice sized walleye for eating. Okay, now I know where they're at. Let's go get some more. One of the things I like most about these iron jigs, metal jigs, is they are very heavy. They drop very quickly, and I think this is probably one of the mistakes that beginning walleye anglers make, especially on the Columbia River, targeting fish below 40 feet in depth like I am today. So they're just not getting down to the bottom. They're not getting to that vertical presentation. Which is pretty critical. And sometimes I have to reset during a drift because my gear will get away from me and I'm not getting that vertical presentation like I want. And it's very easy to reset with these iron jigs because you can bring them up quickly. They come back up through the water column really well because of their slender profile, and they'll go right back down to the bottom very well because of their weight and profile. And so I'm wasting less time bringing gear up and putting gear down, and I have more time with my gear down in the strike zone, which I think is probably one of the greatest limiting factors for success, especially when you want to exploit these sometimes narrow walleye bite windows. See, for instance, my jig got away from me there. Just couldn't find the bottom anymore. Sometimes it gets really soft sand and I just can't find it. Bring it back up, drop it back down in a hurry. See if I can't exploit this drift just a little bit more before I reset. There's one right there. Got it. Good thump. This feels like a nice one. I'm gonna mark that spot. Another thing about the bite on the jig is it's not like a subtle bite. They tend to smash it. It's more aggressive. So it just makes it a lot easier. Wow, this is a really nice walleye. Beautiful fish. They tend to really thump it hard, and so as a result you tend to miss less strikes than, say, if you're trying to slow jig a night crawler along the bottom down there, where they can strip your bait and get away from you really quickly. That's a nice fish. Probably in the 18-inch range, 17, 18 inches. I'm gonna get out of the current so I don't have to reset so badly. So this is another reason why I think it's a really good beginner approach, is just the lack of subtlety in the bite. I mean, they really do hammer. And it's amazing because you can go through the same area fishing, say, bait, and they will strip your bait. You'll come back and go over those fish with the spoon, and they will smash it. So their bite tactics on these spoons just tends to be a little more aggressive. And I think this just has to do with that, all that flash, and really gets them going. So it took me about 3 drifts there to find the fish. They are sitting on a slope that goes up from 60 to 45 feet. And I've caught fish sort of right on the mid front of that hump and just on top. That's very common sort of ambushing location. They're just off of a major current seam, and they're staged on the front of that hump. So as bait gets pushed down in that current across the front of that hump, those fish can take advantage of it. And of course, there we go. Really nice fish. Good eats right there. Take that any day. Now there's a bunch of different manufacturers of these iron jigs. I think that's one of the reasons I really like them, is there's so many different manufacturers of them, mostly building them for saltwater fishing. I mean, they have them in from 1/4 ounce all the way up to, like, 10, 20 ounces, which is way too big for walleye. But I find most of the ones in that sort of 1/2 ounce to 3 ounce range are really ideal for these walleye fisheries. Generally, I really like the 1 to 1.5 ounces. They get my gear down to the bottom in a hurry. But P-Line makes them. Major Craft has one. And you can really find a bunch of different colors and finishes. I do well with the sort of natural bait pattern ones. This one's kind of a perch pattern with green and silver and yellow. But you can go with more traditional metallic patterns. Even a Castmaster, a heavy Castmaster jigged in this manner would work. And I just run these on a duo lock, so it goes really easily in terms of changing out my baits and stuff. I don't have to retie. You can just run a duo lock. It makes life easy. I am very aggressively jigging this, so I'm giving this a good, 1.5, 2 foot pop on the end of the rod tip. And I let it fall back to the bottom. As soon as I make contact with the bottom, I pick it up and keep it going. They are going to hit on the drop almost every time. You're just going to pick it up, and there's going to be a weight there. Ooh, that was a bite. Dang it, I missed it. Frustrating. That's one of the things I like about the Major Craft jig par jigs, is they have a little stinger hook on the top. So if they end up swiping for the top, a lot of times I'll pick them up on that top hook. And that last fish I got, he was only on the top hook. So if you're in a really snaggy area, you can just run 2 single hooks off the top and leave the bottom of the jig just naked. So that way you're not dragging a treble down through a bunch of boulders or anything. So far, only 1 swipe on this drift. Certain days, certain colors, certain weights are going to make a difference. So sometimes having that lighter jig is nice because it's a little bit slower fall. Sometimes when they're really aggressive, they want that fast drop on a heavier jig. Bald eagle keeps interrupting me. Alright, so that's a couple drifts without any bites on the P-Line laser minnow. Now the laser minnow has a very diamond shape to it, whereas the Jigpara's got a flat side to it, and so that flat side causes a little bit more flutter. But P-Line makes another jig called the Coconator, which is a kokanee jig. It's got flat sides designed to really flutter on the fall. So I'm going to switch up to that in a chartreuse, just because of the really low light we got today. We got a lot of fog and heavy cloud cover. I want to see if this bright flat-sided kokanee jig might be enough to get them excited. Another thing that has flat sides is the Castmasters, which also can perform similarly. But I don't have any chartreuse castmasters, but I do have a chartreuse P-line coconator here. As you can see, it's very bright lure. Maybe that'll be just the ticket in this low light conditions. Walleye are suckers for chartreuse. This one's definitely a lot lighter, so a little bit harder to find the bottom with it. There's one. As soon as I hit the bottom, hit that chartreuse jig. So yeah, they want that little bit slower fall today, a little bit more flutter. They got pretty light drag on because I'm running 10-pound braid with 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. This guy feels a little hefty though. Oh yeah. Got him. Nice. So that was the key today. So you have to think about the design of the iron jigs that you're picking out, because they fall a little bit different, and sometimes they want more of a flutter, and other days they want more of a sharp, quick fall. You can see his stomach coming up because I brought him up from depth pretty fast, and you can see that chartreuse P-line coconator jig. Awesome. Oh, dang it. There was one. I missed it. The technique isn't unlike blade baiting. It's just a little less snaggy, which is why I like it. I felt that fish head shake. So if you're a beginner and you've been trying blade baits and just been having some problems getting snagged up or getting to the bottom, this is a really good approach. There we go. There we go. Got him. What this is feeling like. Oh, it's a whitefish. Look at that. That's cool. Huh. Don't catch too many whitefish. That's a bonus catch. Well, jigs work for whitefish too. That's what they use on the white. That's what they use on the Great Lakes for them. I'm gonna let that whitefish go. It's cool though. There's one. Got him. Switch back to the jig para just because I felt like I was getting more hits on that. And I finally found another one. So if you find yourself, oh no, this is something. This is another whitefish. Yeah, another whitefish. Interesting. Getting lots and lots of whitefish on this. There we go. Another whitey. Got him on the top hook, not the bottom. If you haven't seen a whitefish before, they're actually a member of the Salmon today. They got an adipose fin. Kind of a cool looking fish. They taste pretty good, but not my favorite. See, we can't find a walleye. That's a couple of whiteys on back-to-back drifts on the jig para. And the current has slowed down a little bit, so I thought I'd come out a little bit deeper. Going down to 95 feet. See if there's any deep water walleye out here. Drifts a little fast. 1.3. I think it'll slow down as we get going here though. There we go. As soon as I hit the bottom, fish on 95. Oh, you're kidding me. Are you kidding me? I'll mark that spot. Come back. No, they're out here. Repeat that same process. Okay, here we go. There we go. Gosh, as soon as I hit the bottom. Got one on. A long way down there. 95 feet. So if you like going out after walleye and you've just been struggling, or you're taking out some new people, consider adding some iron, jigs. Oh, just got them on the top hook only. There we go. To your arsenal, because they can definitely bring some walleye topside. All right, guys, I'll put links to some of my favorite walleye iron in the description below, and I'll see you next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.